In 1963, construction workers in Derinkuyu, Turkey were renovating a house. They knocked down a wall. Behind it, a tunnel. They followed the tunnel. It kept going and going. What they eventually mapped was a fully functional underground city, 18 stories deep, carved into solid volcanic rock, capable of housing 20,000 people, complete with ventilation shafts, livestock pens, wineries, churches, schools, a city beneath a city, hidden, perfect, unexplained. And nobody, to this day, fully knows who built it. Derinkuyu is not alone. Beneath our feet, on every continent on Earth, there are underground cities so advanced, so precisely engineered, so impossibly old, that the scientists who study them still cannot agree on how they were built. Today, 5 of them, starting impressive, ending with something that will make you question everything you know about the ancient world. Derinkuyu sits beneath the Cappadocia region of central Turkey. It was carved into soft volcanic rock called tough, a material hard enough to hold its shape but soft enough to carve by hand. The city descends 85 meters underground. That is 18 separate floors. Each floor had a specific purpose. Upper levels housed livestock and food storage. Middle levels contained living quarters, kitchens, and water wells. Lower levels held churches, meeting halls, and a school with a barrel-vaulted ceiling still standing perfectly after thousands of years. The ventilation alone is extraordinary. 50 to perfectly placed shafts, engineered so precisely that fresh air reached every level, every room, every corner of a city buried 85 meters underground, without modern instruments, without engineering software, without any technology we can identify. And the doors, each floor could be sealed from the inside using massive circular stone wheels, some weighing up to half a ton. Once locked, nothing was getting through. This was not just a city. This was a fortress, a self-contained survival system, designed to keep thousands of people alive underground, indefinitely. But here is what scientists still cannot answer. The oldest confirmed use of Derinkuyu dates to approximately 800 BCE, but geological analysis of the carved surfaces suggests the original tunnels may be far older. Some researchers believe initial construction began as early as 2000 BCE or beyond. 9 kilometers from Derinkuyu, connected by a single underground tunnel, lies Kaymakli, another underground city, equally massive, equally precise, equally impossible to explain. Kaymakli was discovered in 1964, just 1 year after Derinkuyu. It descends 8 floors underground and covers an area of approximately 2.5 square kilometers beneath the surface. But what makes Kaymakli different is its layout. Where Derinkuyu is vertical, going deep, Kaymakli is horizontal, a vast spreading network of tunnels, rooms, and passageways designed not for depth but for breadth. Different engineering philosophy, different architectural approach. Possible 9 kilometers of perfectly maintained tunnel, through different rock formations, through geological faults, through underground water tables. Modern tunnel engineers who have examined this passage say the route selection alone, avoiding unstable zones, following natural geological weaknesses, would require sophisticated ground survey techniques. In an era with no ground-penetrating radar, no geological survey equipment, no maps of subsurface geology, and archaeologists have now confirmed there are at least 36 more underground cities in the Cappadocia region alone, most of them connected, most of them unexplored, most of them still sealed. Scientists still don't fully understand the full extent of the underground network. Beneath Cappadocia, new tunnels are still being discovered. The question is not just who built these cities. The question is, how much more is still down there? Edinburgh, Scotland, 1788. The South Bridge is being built across a valley in the heart of the city. To support the bridge, builders construct 19 arches beneath it. The arches create chambers, vaulted stone rooms sealed beneath the street, initially used as workshops, taverns, and storage. Then sealed, buried, forgotten for nearly 200 years. When they were rediscovered and excavated in 1985, what archaeologists found inside permanently changed their understanding of 18th century Edinburgh. 120 underground rooms, stretching 300 meters. A complete subterranean district that had been functioning, inhabited, and then abandoned in a single generation. But, beyond the dark history, the vaults themselves pose structural questions that engineers still debate. The stone arches have supported the weight of a fully functioning city street above them for over 130 years without significant reinforcement. The engineering calculations required to build load-bearing vaults of that scale in 1788, using only hand tools and empirical mathematics, should not have been achievable at that level of precision. Several of the vaults show signs of much older construction beneath the 1788 brickwork, stone foundations and carved passages that predate the bridge by centuries. Passages that lead, according to local records, to tunnels extending beneath Edinburgh Castle and beyond. Those tunnels have never been fully mapped. Several entry points were deliberately sealed. The reason was never recorded. In 1888, two American cowboys named Richard Wetherill and Charlie Mason were searching for stray cattle on a mesa in southwestern Colorado. Through the snow and fog, on the opposite wall of a canyon, Wetherill saw something that made him stop completely. A city built into the cliff face, hundreds of feet above the canyon floor, still standing. Cliff Palace, the largest cliff dwelling in North America, had been abandoned for over 700 years, and yet it stood there as if its residents had left that morning. 150 rooms, 23 ceremonial kiva chambers, towers, storage facilities, an entire urban center carved into and built beneath a natural sandstone overhang, protected from rain, from wind, from enemies. The acoustics of the kiva chambers are particularly inexplicable. Modern acoustic engineers who have studied the round ceremonial rooms found that the geometry, the precise diameter, the height of the walls, the position of the roof opening, creates a resonance chamber that amplifies specific sound frequencies used in ceremonial chanting to a degree that should require mathematical acoustic modeling to achieve. In 1260 CE, without calculators, without acoustic measurement equipment, without any known written record of the engineering principles involved. And then, in approximately 1285 CE, Cliff Palace was abandoned completely. Within a single generation, the inhabitants left. They took almost nothing. They left pottery, tools, food stores, as if they planned to return. They never did. Scientists attribute the abandonment to drought, to resource depletion, to social conflict, but they don't fully understand why a civilization that took 70 years to build this extraordinary structure left everything behind almost overnight. And where they went, nobody knows. June 1992, Xianbeicun Village, Zhejiang Province, China. A local farmer named Wuanai had a theory. The ponds surrounding his village had never been successfully drained. No matter how much water was pumped out, they never ran dry. He believed they were not natural ponds. He rented a pump. He started draining one. For 17 days, the pump ran continuously. When the water finally dropped, what appeared beneath it was not a pond bed. It was a ceiling. A vast underground cavern, perfectly carved, with walls covered in precise parallel chisel marks arranged at a consistent 60-degree angle across every surface. Wuanai drained a second pond, another cavern. Then a third, a fourth, or 24 caverns in total, each one massive, each one perfectly carved, each one maintaining a consistent internal design, the same 60-degree chisel pattern, the same column placement, the same ceiling curvature, executed with identical precision across all 24 chambers. 1 million cubic meters of rock, removed by hand, in a civilization with bronze and iron tools. The scale alone is staggering. But scale is not the mystery. The mystery is the silence. China has extraordinarily detailed historical records. The Han Dynasty, which ruled during the period when the caves are estimated to have been created, documented everything: infrastructure projects, military campaigns, agricultural records, court proceedings. There's no mention of the Longyou caves anywhere, in any document, in any dynasty. A project of this magnitude, carving 24 precision chambers from solid rock, would have required thousands of workers, Years of organized labor, enormous resource allocation. In ancient China, that would have been a state project, documented, recorded, celebrated. Scientists still cannot explain the organizational structure that produced these caves. They cannot explain the engineering methodology. The 60-degree chisel pattern appears designed for structural load distribution, using a principle not formally described in engineering until the modern era, and they cannot explain why, with 24 perfectly engineered caverns capable of housing thousands of people, there is no evidence anyone ever lived in them. No pottery, no fire marks, no human remains, no artifacts of daily life. They were built. They were sealed beneath artificial ponds, and they were forgotten. 5 cities, built underground, built in secret, built to last. Derinkuyu, a survival fortress for 20,000 people, whose builders left no name. Kaymakli, connected to Derinkuyu by 9 kilometers of impossible tunnel, part of a network still being discovered. Edinburgh, a city beneath a city, with sealed passages that nobody has fully mapped. Mesa, Verde, an acoustic masterpiece abandoned overnight, its builders vanished.